Hello and welcome to another episode of the Small Town Tourist Podcast, where we experience and explore everything that makes small towns great. I'm your host, Abby, and as we are in the throes of the holiday season, I just want to take today's episode to talk about shopping small for the holidays, which is something I'm sure you're well aware of. Like everyone knows this time of year, you can't hop on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, anything without seeing a post about shopping small and not giving your holidays to the big box stores and not giving Christmas to Amazon. And we all know how important it is, but I would just like to give the perspective of someone who has been working at craft fairs for the past couple weeks and is getting ready to work her last craft fair of the season. So I actually run a dog bandana business. I started it during the pandemic. It's called Minnesota Mutt Co. And me and my mom do these things, and we have been fighting for our lives at craft fairs the past couple weeks because I've been sick and she just had foot surgery. So she's in like a walking boot. I have had the worst sinus infection in my life, and it's been a brutal craft fair season. But I just want to give some perspective on this week's episode about what it's like to be on the other side of full shopping small. We all have that one piece of clothing in our closet where when you put it on, you feel like a rock star, you feel like $1,000,000. And when you wear it out and about in public, strangers always come up to you and say, "Oh my gosh, I love that. Where did you get it?" For me, that piece of clothing came from Sweet Bae Boutique in Pierce. That piece of clothing is a denim jacket that is covered, like front, sleeves, sides, back, everything, in pinstripe rhinestones. When I wear it, I feel like a walking disco ball, and I love it. It's all I've ever wanted to be. I've been wearing it everywhere lately, and every single time I put it on and I leave the house in it, someone always asks me, "Where'd you get that? I need that in my closet." And I say, Sweet Bae Boutique in Pierce. You got to go get one for yourself because it is incredible. And while you're there, check out all the other incredible clothes. I'm a huge fan of Sweet Bae Boutique. I have multiple pieces from them now. And everything just makes me feel incredible. Like I put their clothes on and I just feel like I am the version of myself that I'm meant to be. Whether you're looking for something sparkly and flashy like a rhinestone covered jacket, or you're looking for a dress to wear to a wedding, a blazer to wear to work, athleisure wear, they got it all, and it's all at a reasonable price, and it's all locally owned and operated. You got to check out Sweet Bae Boutique for all of your holiday shopping this year. You can shop them online, shopsweetbaeboutique.com, or you can find Sweet Bae Boutique on Facebook. Just type in Sweet Bae Boutique, or at Sweet Bae Boutique LLC on Instagram. I also have all the details linked in the show notes below. Check out Sweet Bae Boutique for that next statement piece that you're looking for, or your everyday wear. So like I said, we started Minnesota Mutt Co. back in 2020. I didn't start doing craft fairs until 2021. And we do the Long Prairie Craft Fair. We've done that one religiously. The Little Falls Carousel of Crafts is the one that we just got off of this weekend. And then in the past, we've done Made in Minnesota, which is in St. Cloud. We didn't do that one this year just because we opted to do the one that we have coming up this weekend, the Off the Rails Market in Brainerd. We decided that that one would be worth our time to try out this year instead of doing Made in Minnesota because the cost was the same, and Off the Rails is a 2-day event versus just a solo day event. So yeah, we are getting through the last week. Our sewing machines pretty much have flames coming out of them at this point. It's been a lot of sewing triangles and rectangles because I make all the dog bandanas, and then my mom came up with dog beds. She started selling those last year. So we have been just trying to get everything done and ready and keep up with everything, honestly, because our first weekend in Long Prairie this year went way better than I was expecting. Considering I wasn't really prepared for it, I've just been so busy that I'm kind of all over the place right now, mentally, physically, emotionally. So let's rewind to when I started Minnesota Mutt Company. It's 2020, pandemic's happening, nothing's going on, and I accidentally made 30 dog bandanas. And I'm like, well, now I gotta sell them because I don't need 30 dog bandanas for the one dog that I have. So we looked into doing craft fairs. A year later, 2021, we did our first ones, and it was great because I was working at the radio station at the time. I was working like 5 a.m. to 1 p.m. So I would have all afternoon to work on dog bandanas and update the website and do the social media for it. And I had all the time in the world to mess around with this. Well, here we are in 2023. I have a different job now. I work from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and I'm still hosting bar trivia, so I just don't really have time for the dog bandana thing as much as I used to, which is a shame because I do love it and I love making them and I love crafting and sewing. But yeah, I'm spread a little too thin this year, and it has caused this year to be kind of a struggle. I'm not going to lie. We have been kind of just whatever happens. We're just going to go and do these events that I signed up for back in August and bit off more than I can chew. But honestly, the response has been so great. Long Prairie, we pretty much like sold out of mediums, like medium-sized bandanas for all of the Christmas prints, which prompted me to have to sew a bunch more in between the Long Prairie show and the Little Falls show, which were only a week apart. And so, yeah, it's just been like trying to keep up with demand, keep up with making sure we have sizes available and on hand for the sales. And it's been good. And we're getting ready for this last weekend. My mom just texted me this morning. She's like, oh, I got most of my dog beds made. I'm getting through. We're getting there. They'll be done before the weekend. And I'm like, I'll figure it out. I got called into work last night, so that took away a night of sewing. But yeah, it's been incredible. Long Prairie was our first show of the year this year. Usually I try to do like one in October, just to like make sure I have everything ready to go. And this year, the opportunity just didn't present itself, and I was already booked almost every single weekend in October for various events. So yeah, we kind of just went in blind to Long Prairie, and the show was actually sold out this year. So there was a wait list for vendors to have space there starting back in October. So it was a great show, lots and lots of vendors and lots of shoppers, which was really cool to see because in years past we've had some kind of bad weather. So like crowds are a little bit lower, but this year it was incredible. The turnout was amazing. Everyone had bags in their hands. Everyone was in a great mood. The weather was nice. I mean, it snowed a little bit, but it didn't deter people from coming in, which was really cool to see. There was a lot of people there that were just excited to be there. There was lots of hugging and holidays, and it's just a great way to start the holiday shopping season. And I did better there sales-wise than I was expecting, which was really cool to see. I always do fairly well in Long Prairie. It's the hometown crowd for me, and I have a lot of loyal customers, and I appreciate each and every one of them. But yeah, it was really cool to see because like I said, went in blind. I wasn't really expecting a whole lot. So it was great to see everyone, great to see the support for not just my business, but all the businesses there. There was a dog treat company set up next to us, Braden's Pawfect Treats. They're based out of the St. Cloud area, and they had a great day as well. So it's just good to see the support coming from the community for all of these small, independent people that are just trying to be out here, make some extra cash for the holidays, make some extra cash and run their businesses. And just, it's cool to see the community come together and shop small like that. Little Falls this past weekend, my mom and I looked back on our sales from there last year, which was our first year as vendors at that one. And we actually sold 4 more bandanas than we did at last year's sale. So we were pretty much on track. And that was another good one where the show was sold out. There was lots and lots of vendors, a really good variety of different things. And the crowds were really good. I mean, the morning there is always super busy. It does trail off in the afternoon, but the weather was insane this year, like insanely good, like on a good side of things. Like you'd walk outside and be like, oh man, that sun actually has some warmth to it. Whereas last year was bitter cold. My mom and I were reminiscing. We're like, oh my gosh, remember loading up the car and like we were losing feeling in our fingers and it was just freezing cold. This year, the weather was gorgeous, which provided a great turnout, which is always good. Even if people are just there milling around and not buying anything, it's good to see people coming out to these events, supporting the vendors. Maybe they're buying something, maybe they're not, maybe they're just looking, or maybe you get a couple Facebook likes out of the deal. And it's just good to see and interact with people in that kind of way. So we're getting ready for our last show of the season this weekend, Off the Rails Market at Northern Pacific Center up in Brainerd. And we actually were tipped off about this show at the Little Falls show last year. We were set up next to a goat soap and like goat lotion company, and they said, hey, are you guys going to Brainerd next weekend? And we're like, well, no, because I mean, you make friends with these people. You're in a school gymnasium with them for an entire day. You get to know people and you chit chat with them. And they're like, so you're going to Brainerd? And we're like, no, we don't know what you're talking about. What's in Brainerd? So they told us about the Off the Rails Market that happens up at the Northern Pacific Center. And it's this huge event, lots and lots of vendors. And they said, apply early for this one because there's always a wait list. And we're like, okay, yeah, we'll look into it. We don't really have a game plan for next year because we always just kind of fly by the seat of our pants. And so I applied for this one back in, I think, must have been June or July. And yeah, we got in and now we're going to be getting ready to go up there this weekend for a 2-day event. They said it's a really busy one. So what happens is Friday night, there's a VIP night where people can come and shop early if they buy a special VIP ticket. And there's always some form of entertainment. I know last year my friends in Mason-Dixon line played up there. And this year, I think they have a female singer, I want to say. I can't remember the name. But yeah, so they'll have entertainment Friday night, some early shopping. And then you can also offer like a discount on your products for the VIP people as well. So I think we're going to participate in that. I think it's like 10% off. And so yeah, people can shop Friday night and then Saturday morning we'll get there. We'll be all set up, which I'm looking forward to. I love that we can just stay set up and it's not a tear down setup, come back in sort of thing. So we'll be ready to go. 9 a.m. Saturday, there's a early hour for VIP shoppers again. And then 10 o'clock is when general public it opens up to. And they said, yeah, it's pretty much a steady stream of people at that event all day long, which I am so looking forward to. And it'll be nice to expand into another market too. I haven't done anything north of Little Falls for Minnesota Mutco. So expanding up to the Brainerd area is good. Getting your product in front of new people is good. I'm sure there will be some people coming from like the St. Cloud, central Minnesota area that are probably some repeat customers or at least familiar faces. But yeah, so it'll be exciting to see how that one's going to go. And it's just been overwhelming to see the support this year, especially with being kind of, I don't want to say checked out, but yeah, I've kind of been checked out of the dog bandana business this year just because I have so many irons in the fire, which is not uncommon for me at all. I mean, I always spread myself too thin. That's the story of my life. If I ever write a memoir, that's probably the title of it. But yeah, it's been great to see people supporting my business, but also supporting other people's businesses. I've been trying to shop as small as I can this year as well, whether that's Etsy, whether that's buying something at the craft fairs that I'm set up at from my neighboring vendors, from other vendors that are set up there. I've been trying to kind of be more conscious of what I'm buying this year. And I think a lot of people are. We all realize the power of our dollars and we're trying to spread them as far as we can, but also help out other people as much as we can as well. So I think we're kind of seeing that trend in general. I mean, look at TikTok on Black Friday. If you weren't on that platform on that day, it was definitely not the Black Friday that we think of. When we think Black Friday, we think like stampedes and running to Walmart to buy a giant TV. This year, it was more of like, no, I don't have the money for that. I'm being smarter about what I'm buying. I'm not just going to go and spend money because it's a good deal. Like, I need to be more conscious of what I'm doing, and I want to support local people and small vendors and artisans. And it's an interesting shift that's being made. I mean, the word recession's being tossed around. I've heard the term silent depression as well. And yeah, we're all just doing the best we can with the resources that we have. And I am honored to be included in people's small shopping this year, and I can only hope that I can return the favor as best I can. I know I've been looking for links that friends are sharing, whether that's if I do need to buy something on Amazon, an affiliate link to something, so it's helping out a helping out a fellow content creator or influencer, that sort of thing. I want to be more conscious about what I'm doing this holiday season, and I think I'm not the only one that's doing that. So yeah, that's just kind of what I wanted to touch on today's episode. I know it's kind of a shorter episode, but I think it's important, and being a vendor is a perspective I have that I wanted to share because I grew up going to all these craft fairs. I attended the Long Prairie one every single year, the Little Falls one. You can go listen to that whole episode about how much I love the Little Falls Arts and Crafts Fair. But yeah, I mean, you can attend these things, but you don't really see the perspective of the vendor at these shows that are setting their booth up bright and early on that Saturday morning and going in, making sure they have enough products, spending weeks, months, years making their products to have ready for you to buy on the spot. So it's definitely eye-opening to be on the other side of things, and I'm glad that I am because I do truly love interacting with people and being at these shows. And I don't know if this is going to be the last year of it or not. My mom and I have talked about kind of calling it quits on Minnesota Mutco. We haven't officially made a decision yet. It all depends on kind of where we're at next year at this time because we're both busy people. We work full time. We both got side gigs. My mom officiates weddings and she does some township stuff. And I have my podcasts. I have my clients' podcasts. I have my full-time job, wedding DJing, bar trivia, all the stuff. So we're just going to kind of take some time to reevaluate. I know we both kind of want to do some different sewing projects too. I'm getting kind of tired of sewing triangles and she's getting tired of the rectangles. So we'll just have to take some time, reevaluate, and maybe next year we'll be doing this again. Maybe we won't. I guess it all just depends. But for now, I'm just happy to be included in these shows. I'm happy to meet people and talk to people and see pictures of their dogs. Honestly, that's like the best part because it's a dog bandana business. People are like, oh, I have a dog. I'm like, yes, show me pictures. Open your phone right now. So that's been a lot of fun as well. I hope that you're having a great holiday season. We'll wrap this up here. Remember to shop small. You don't need to hear that from me, though. You hear it enough everywhere else. We all know what we need to do this holiday season to help out our fellow crafters and creators and business people. So just think about where your money's going and have a great holiday season. Thank you so much for checking out another episode of the Small Town Tourist Podcast. A huge thank you to our sponsor, Sweet Bae Boutique in Pierce. If you're looking for gifts and goodies and fun holiday outfits and all sorts of good stuff, be sure to check out more on Sweet Bae Boutique in the show notes below. If you got a suggestion for something I should check out, never hesitate to send me an email. You can email me at Abby, ABBEY, at thesmalltowntourist.com or send me a DM on Instagram at thesmalltowntourist. Otherwise, I'll catch you next week.